Was enough time, so let's get started. So welcome to everybody. Welcome to today's webinar where we're going to discuss Creo import data doctor. So I just prepared a few slides just to get us going here. So just a quick agenda about the webinar. So I'll do a quick introduction and then I have only prepared 2 slides. And then we'll jump into Creo. I'll do a demonstration on how to fix components. We'll look and discuss a few important things. And then afterwards, we'll have a question and answer session. So you can use the GoToWebinar question interface, ask those questions. And then I'll repeat the question to everybody, and then we'll discuss it. I'll answer it. If I can't answer it, I'll take your details and I'll make sure I'll get back to you if we need to. So just quickly, a little bit about myself. So my name's Pierre Venter. So I'm a boundary systems technical specialist. I've been working with PTC products since 2008. So I specialize in the Creo manufacturing side of things, also smart assembly for Creo. And then I'm the go-to guy for top-down design and automation on your assemblies. So just a little bit about boundary systems. So we're part of the PDSVISION group of global companies. Our capabilities, product lifecycle management, data management, CAD design and consulting. We also do simulation and product development for our customers. So some of our accreditations, so I think the important ones here are the PTC ones. So we are a PTC Platinum partner. We're also Winchell certified implementers, also PTC's preferred service provider, and then we also provide certified training in Creo, Winchell, MathCAD, and Arbitex. So some of the solutions we offer, I think the big one is the PTC one, but then we also have a host of other products that we can help you guys with, like ZWCAD, C-Maxim is the smart assembly guys, Moldex 3D, Tacron, Etrage, and Keyshot as well, just to name a few. Okay, so let's get to the topic for today, the import data doctor. So I think if you go to our YouTube channel, you'll see there's a few recordings on import data doctor. So it's still very relevant. All the things that's in those videos are still things you need to apply. This slide is only here to show you the difference between Creo 6 and earlier versions versus Creo 7. And I think the big change is the extra bodies or the multi-body design things that was released in Creo 7, and you can use that or leverage that in Creo 7 now and import data doctor. Okay, so the next slide, I think this is the most important information. Take a screenshot of this if you want to. This is the foundation when you start working with import data doctor. So I think the important thing here is your accuracy. Myself and PTC, and I think most of the guys in the team will acknowledge that you have to use the external accuracy. So external accuracy is that step file, when it was saved, it was done with a certain accuracy, a certain math, and we want to use that as far as possible. Okay, so I think that's the most important bit. Then the use templates one. So by default, we don't use the templates, but if you have some specific datum features and things in your starting models, you can use that. Just be wary, there was an issue with earlier versions. So Creo 4 M60 and Creo 5, the second release, there was issues with that. I'm going to use the templates today, and well, I'm going to do an import with the templates and without the templates, so you can see the difference, and then I'll walk you through it. So Just be wary of that. You can use the templates if you're in Creo 7. There's no issues with that. But if you run into things that's odd, just try it without templates, and then you can carry on from there. Okay, so let's jump into Creo and start with a few things. So the first thing that we're going to do is just going to import a component. Sorry, I'm going to erase that. That's the component we're going to work with. I just want to start you off fresh. So we're on Creo 7.2. So let me show you exactly the version that we are running. Okay, so it's the latest Creo 7 version. And we're going to open up a step file. So whenever possible, use step files. They are still worked on or developed today. IGES files, things like that, not always that great. If you're requesting data from other customers or from external sources, step file if you can. In Creo 7, we can open up all the native files like SolidWorks, Inventor, NX, CATIA. So I would say ask for those files, and then if you need to, you can ask for step files as well. You can we can do everything with both those files. But if you're looking for a universal thing, step files is the way to go. Okay, so I'm just going to import a step file to start everything off with. And this is where you need to focus a little bit and just, there's a few things that's important in this window. So the use templates is by default off. If you go to the profile tab and you click on details, it's going to show you that window that I had up in the presentation. So module accuracy, that's the important one. By default, it's on automatic. I've done this a few times now and saved the settings. So mine is by default on external. Okay, then if we go through all of them here at the top, you can untick all of these. That one's default, we can leave that on. On this window, again, very important. I think if you start up Creo for the first time, or you import this yield, close gap between surfaces, repair, unsatisfied geometry, we don't want Creo to do anything at this stage. We're just going to investigate this model now. Okay, so we'll give it some leverage. If it can close the volumes and make it a solid, yes, you can do that. We don't want you to join surfaces or layers or groups or anything like that. So we force it. We tell it no. We don't want it to do anything with surfaces on same layers, groups, or shells. So we'll tell it no again over there. Okay. Then the filters, well, you can bring in everything that's available in that step file, and I think that's the important one. Okay, so this model accuracy one, very important. If we have time at the end, I'll break one and show you what a disaster it can be if you play around with the accuracy. Okay, so let's go. Okay, and we say, okay, we're going to import that component. Okay, so first things that you'll notice in Creo 7 is, if you look at the model tree, we have this bodies tab over here, and there's only one body at the moment. Okay. So as soon as we want to change or edit this part that we've imported, you have to right-click on it and say Edit Definition. Yeah. So as soon as we say Edit Definition, that's going to put us in the Import tab, and then you'll see the difference here. So we can add bodies, and then we can add material as well. So depending on what you want to do with this component. So if you're going to work with multiple bodies, you're going to add that. And then if you add material, you also have the option to create a new body or add it to the existing body. So, but for now, we just want to go and fix this component. We can see there's a few issues over here. There's a missing surface we can pick up quickly, and we have a few gaps. But I'm going to show you how to investigate or how to find those, even if it's very small problems. Yeah, then we're going to click on this little doctor icon, and that's going to put us in the import data doctor environment. Yeah, so very similar to all the Creo interfaces. If you're working with different things, it's the same feel to it. So you should be able to navigate it quite easily. I think the important bit is this first one, this analyze group, where you want to go and check what you actually have. Most of the models, it isn't clear as this one, where you can see there's gaps, there's a missing surface. If you're working with a part and there's some engraving in there, then it can be tricky to see all the issues. So this geometry check is just a quick tool to find those gaps and find those issues. Okay, so it can show you that there's certain issues. So if you click on it, it's going to highlight it. If you click on the item, it's going to zoom into that area. Okay, so nice way to quickly see where you are. Yeah. So there's an issue on this edge that we didn't pick up, or that we didn't really see. Okay, so we know there's a few issues in this component. Something to make your life a little bit easier as well. Remember to put all of this in some sort of wireframe scenario. So I'm using no hidden line. If you put it in wireframe, depending on your components, it can get a little bit messy. If I'm going to open up another component later, you'll see it's easy to lose your orientation when you're in wireframe. So there's a few tools to make it easier for yourself. And one of those tools is to use the no hidden. Okay, so then it will only show you the wireframe of your orientation. Okay, so you don't see all the lines and bits and pieces in the back. Okay, so that's one thing that you can change. To enable that, there is a setting that you have to set. So I'm just quickly going to go to my entity display, or model display rather, and then I'm going to switch this fast hidden line removal. So let's just make some space over here. And you can see now I've turned it off, and it's still like a wireframe. So I still have those lines exactly the same as what you would have in a wireframe view. But if you put this fast hidden line removal on, apply, then it can make your life a little bit easier with complicated components. Okay. So I'm just going to cancel that for now. And then one thing that's also very easy to use, or something you can use to make your life easier, is the model appearances. So I'm going to go to my system appearances, and you'll see there's a few options that you have, and that will change the way you view these parts in wireframe drastically. So if we go, let's say we go to a dark, I'm just going to say okay on that. Okay, can I change it to, I want to, let's go dark theme. Here we go. Okay, so you can see it stands out a little bit better. So there's a surface we didn't pick up with the default view or system appearance. Just by changing that to dark, it's different colors, it's different highlighting things, so really nice and easy. If you go to the light theme, you can see it's using that yellow. That's not easy on my eyes. It's difficult to see. You can see that surface that's there. You can't really see it. So dark themes are easier to use, and you can change it on the fly. So that's default stuff. If we go to a custom color scheme, I have a custom one over here, and this is a pre-wildfire one, and still very popular with a lot of people even today. So you can see that yellow, there's a surface there that's broken. See how easy it is to pick up that one-sided edge that we missed with the default view. So use these default color schemes to make your life easier. You can chop and change them as you work, as you do your design work. Use them to your advantage. So I'm just going to go to the default theme. I'm quite used to it now, so I'm going to stay with that. And I'm going to say, okay. I'm going to, ooh, no, I want the default one, please. Oh, come on. Options. That's the dark one. That's the default theme. There we go. Okay. Okay, so now we've identified a few issues with this part, with the geometry check tool that we've used. So we've noticed there's a few gaps in here. Okay, one other tool that you can use to identify errors is the find tool. Okay, so the first one, if you look for gaps give it a nice big value over here. You say find now, you'll see it will find all the gaps automatically for you. Highlight them as well in red. Okay, so we can quickly see how many issues we have. We can get a sense for how much time we're going to spend fixing this component. I mean, if there's, like, I would say more than 100 issues or 200 issues, then maybe play around with the import tools a little bit. So you can just cancel all of this, import the model again, there where we did the profiles, maybe change things around there, maybe try your template, see if that's going to make a difference. And then all you quickly do is you just do a quick find for gaps, and you use your geometry checks, and you will get a quick sense of where you are with the type of import you did. Another thing that can give you a quick indication on where you are with the components is if you search for one-sided edges. If you say find now, so it will tell you there's about 28. So you can roughly see there's about 28 edges that you'll need to fix. Normally this number is a lot higher than the gaps. You will see like this missing surface we had, it's picking up a few edges on that. So there's a second edge on that one fix. So we'll create the surface over that. So just be wary of that number. Don't just look at that and see 500 and go, oh my goodness, this is a huge problem. Rather look at the gaps. That's a better indication of where you are and what you need to fix in that particular component. Okay, so that's a quick way to check what you need to do. And then just one tip that I want to give you guys. So a lot of the time you will come into Info Data Doctor. You've watched the webinar. It's easy. Pierre just clicked a few buttons and he clicked on repair, but now repair is grayed out. So now you're not sure what's going on. Okay, so because of the new Creo 7 things and the multi-body things, you have to activate, you have to tell Creo where you actually want to work. So as soon as we activate this quilt, then you'll see if I pick certain things, I can start working with it. Okay, so you'll always pick things that you will work on, and then whatever you can do on that icons will become available. Okay, so I'm just going to deactivate this, and then I'm going to show you. So that one surface that was doubled here, so that's a surface that imported twice. So if we delete this surface, there is only one quilt or one model volume in the GTS tree now. So now if I pick my references or surfaces, my repair buttons and my icons will become available. Okay, and then it is as easy as pick the surfaces, hit the repair button, and okay. And like with any normal demo, it won't happen the first time. Okay, so just be wary of those issues. I'll look into this one now. Something must be different with this import that I've done. So we'll work with that. Okay, so let's go to and start fixing the other issues. So we can zoom into this one and we can see there's a fairly big gap between these surfaces. So we're going to use our gap tool to fix that. So when you start viewing these issues, zoom into them, pick the surfaces around them, then you'll see what the issues are. So there's another gap over there. Here we know we have a missing surface. There's another gap over there. And then we have a fairly large gap in this area over here. Okay, so let's go and fix this gap over here first, because I want to show you the wireframe stuff. So you'll notice as we start fixing the gaps, one of the options is going to be add to wireframe. So Creo will pick up or create a wireframe wherever the geometry is attached, where it could find edges and it could join them. Okay, so you can see all our issues, all the pinkish lines, they aren't joined and they're not part of the wireframe. So if we go and we start our gap tool and we pick the one edge, and we pick our second edge, it's going to give you add to wireframe. Okay, so if I say okay on that, you can see that color changed on that now. So now if I pick this, if I pick the surface where the gap was, and I say repair, you can see that turned green. It means it's satisfied. If you don't see that, if you still see the gap, don't complete the tool. It's not going to fix that. Then rather just cancel, try a different method, maybe move things around a little bit, so and then try fixing it again. So in this case, we're happy. It's going to close the gap, and we can say okay, and you can see it made that part of the wireframe now. It turned green. Okay, so these edges over here, that was part of the wireframe as well now, but that gap is still there. So let's see if we can pick the edges. No, I don't want that to be part of the wireframe now. Because now if it's part of the wireframe, I can go easily and that should repair it. But I wanted to show you different tools. So I'm just quickly going to go undo, and keep in mind that you can undo this as far as possible. So I can undo everything. So that was just Control Z, and I'm back to where I started. Okay, so let's keep that. Then I'm going to use the replace. So as soon as I pick the edge, the replace will become available, and I can say replace it with that one. Hit OK, and you can see that surfaces are joined now. Okay, so if gap tools and things like that is not working in a certain scenario, try things like replace. One thing we can also do with fairly large gaps is we can modify the curves. So you can take that and you can drag it around. So you can make a big gap fairly smaller. You can take a vertex. So we can say move vertex. And I have to say this one, you have to use that. I'm just holding the left mouse button in and dragging that. This tool is maybe like a last resort. You're working in a 3D environment. It's easy to drag things where it's not supposed to be. You can see they are already overlapped with that edge that I've that I've dragged. So when you start dragging things around, be careful. Just note what you are doing. You might be fixing one area and breaking another. So yes, the tools are there. Just be careful when you use them. And if you go and you check your geometry stuff on a regular basis after maybe 2 or 3 changes, you'll get a good idea if you're going in the right direction or not. So I started just with gaps, and now I've got a bad vertex as well. So I'm going in the wrong direction, so I'm hitting undo a few times here. Okay, so that one's back, so I can redo one step, and that one's fixed. Okay, so that was a gap. So we can fix this one with the gap tool as well. Let's quickly do that. Pick the one edge, select the second side, and okay, so now it's not adding it to the wireframe, and the reason for that is I've put that quilt back, so I've undid that delete that I did. So I'm just quickly going to cancel that, and you'll notice that surface that I've deleted in the beginning. So I was a bit trigger happy on that undo when I used Control Z. So let's just delete that again. And let's fix this section, and we're going to use the gap tool as well. So pick one side, pick the other side. It's going to add it automatically to the wireframe. And now if I just select the surface, hit repair, it's just going to fix that surface and where it intersects. So maybe worth saying as well, the wrong way to go about this, I'm just going to undo everything again. So I'm at the start, is to come into import data doctor and then just hit everything and say repair. Okay, so this is a fairly small model. It didn't actually do anything. The gaps are too big, but I know you guys are importing complicated components. You're going to change some surfaces and think that you won't pick up until it's too late. If you include the tangency into all of this, I mean, you can change a part completely by ticking that. If you're working with a complex component where there was maybe complex surfaces, it will change those surfaces. Okay, and you won't be able to pick it up. As soon as you overlay them at one stage, then you're going to notice it. And then it was all done right at the beginning when you've done the repair. Maybe while we're on that, always keep in mind, if you do your checks and you see a lot of issues, try to determine what's important. I mean, if you're going to take this component into a mold design environment, injection molding or casting or anything like that, then you need a fairly accurate component. Then you need to spend time on it, fix it, get more than one version from your customer or from whoever supplied you with the step file. Play around with that. Spend some time initially finding the best method to start the repair issues. Okay, so work through different scenarios, and then don't go and repair just everything in one go. Yeah, start working with that model, do bits and pieces, recreate surfaces if you need to. So I'm going to show you 2 methods on how to fix those or create surfaces. So we've got this the boundary blend tool within the import data doctor environment. So very easy. You pick your references, exactly the same as you would do in normal Creo. Let's second direction. So that one. Okay, it's not going to do it tangentially. Let's just change that.
let's just quickly fix this one edge. I think that corner there is creating, yeah, that corner there is creating an issue, and I want to create that. So let's quickly grab this edge. So replace that one. There we go. And let's try. Drag it down to there. Trim it. This reference over here. I'll use my second. That curve is what I want. Okay, that's been difficult to me now. Okay, so if it's doing that, let's fix this one over here as well. Play too much around with that undo. So let's specify gap. Second side, that side, add to wireframe, repair, and repair everything. Remember to select. Okay, let's see. Yeah, those corners are much better now. So now my boundary blend should be happy. There we go. Okay, and we can finish that up. So notice that it didn't fix it immediately. Okay, so look what we have over here in our GTS tree. So it created that surface, but outside of our main body. So all you need to do is expand that, take that new surface, drag and drop it. And if you check that now, that would fix that component or that surface, that section. Okay. So let's quickly go and get this model solidified. So I'm gonna move this vertex a little bit. It's quite far away from everything. Then I can just use the gap tool. I'll show you. And that's wireframe. Pick the two surfaces, hit repair. We are happy in that section. Let's go and do the same in this one. Let's see if we just do a normal repair. See, that's still pink. So that repair is not going to work. So we're going to bail out. Let's see if we can use the gap tool. This is our second gap. Let's see if we can repair that now. There we go. We see a green line. We are happy. So that's fixed up. And this tool over here, let's try the repair again. No, we still see that gap. I think this one was too big for the repair as well, so we have to use the gap tool again. Part of the wireframe, yes, that's part of the wireframe. And we can say repair. We see a green line. We zoom in there and say okay. So now it's this one over here. So let's check what's going on here. So it's a little bit of overlapping surfaces. And that's new. So let's try something different here. So let's see if we grab these three surfaces and we just hit repair. It's fixing, it's not really fixing it. We zoom in here, we still see an issue. We still see a pink line. That's not what we want. So I'm going to bail out of this. You know what? Let's try this. Let's go And I'm going to delete this one. What surface is that? So let's just quickly see what exactly we have in this corner. Okay. We have like a little surface in here that's causing that issue. I'm going to delete that surface. I'm just hitting delete on my keyboard. That corner is much better now. So now we can use the boundary blend tool. But I'm gonna go out of import data doctor, and I want to show you how you can use normal Creo tools to fix your component as well. I'm going to leave everything default for now. I'm going to leave it as the surface. And we are basically back to where we started, just with the missing surface. So you can use things like the fill tool. If you have the ISDX, you can use style. You can use any tool in Creo. And what we'll do is we'll make it part of that import feature. So I'm going to use the boundary blend tool, which is not a great example for this, but I hope you get the point. So I'm going to pick the edges like I would normally do. So I have to keep shift in for that one, and that's going to create that surface. Okay, so but now we've got that boundary blend outside of our imported feature. So what we want to do is we want to collapse that. So what I'll do is I'll pick my import feature, pick the boundary blend. If you go to editing, you'll see the collapse feature that you can use. You can keep everything as default. And you notice in my model tree, that boundary blend is not there anymore. Okay, so now it's in my imported feature. So I can edit definition there. I can go to the doctor icon. Notice that it created that call. So all we need to do is take the surfaces and drag and drop them into our main body. Okay, so let's quickly put it back into wireframe. Still not happy at the top. Okay, so maybe we need to close that gap. So let's see if we can get that gap to close. And let's just quickly look at the wireframe. No, it's not part of the wireframe. So let's try our quick repair tool, see if that's going to do anything. No, see it's still pink. So let's try and fix that up with the gap tool. So it added it to the wireframe. So we should be able to repair that now. There we go, it's green. And we can go OK. So just quickly to confirm everything, we can switch the wireframe off. We can go to geometry checks. We don't have any geometry issues. So our part's ready to make it a solidified component. So something that's new in Creo 7 as well, you have to tell it you want it to be a solid. Okay, because you're working with multi-body components now, you can have a solid component, import a surface thing, and then you can use that to make cutouts and do various things with that surface model. Okay, so in this case, we want it to be a solid. So we're going to tell Creo, make it a solid body. We're going to go out of import data doctor. We're going to tell it we want a new body. And do we want to add it to the existing one, or do we want to create a new one? So let's add it to the existing one. And you will notice we have a solid component. Okay. So that's the tools that you will use to take a step file, check a few things, check where you are with that component, and then fix that. let's quickly go and play a little bit around with the accuracy. And I just want to show you a few scenarios and how that's going to work for you. So I'm going to import the model again. And let's use the same one. I'm just going to give it a different name. So it's going to be part 1. In this case, I'm going to say use templates. So all my templates are relative accuracy, 0.12. Okay, so I'm going to tell it to use it. All the other options are exactly the same. Okay. I'm still using the external one. So what that's going to do is that's going to change my template accuracy. Okay, so let's go test it. So if we go okay, I'm going to go part 1. Okay, so you can see there's a few things extra in the model tree now. I've got my default data planes, which is great. That's going to help me design the component. But most importantly, if we go and look at our model accuracy in the model properties, you can see that changed it. Okay, so if we go back to the model I just did, that I solidified without the template, and we go to look at the same properties, you'll see that value is exactly the same, which means in this case, there's no difference between using the templates and not using the templates. Okay. Like I said in the slides, don't test that, and there's certain versions of Creo that will cause an issue. Okay. So be wary of that. Okay, and then one other thing that I wanted to show you that's also, I think they introduced it in later versions of Creo 6 and in Creo 7. So we've changed this accuracy of this component now using the external source, the program that created the step file. We used that math to create this component, which is great. But what if you take this component now and you want to design the mold in Creo? What's going to happen with that? So in Creo, they also added a feature. So I'm going to use my default template. So there's my default template, and we can quickly have a peek at the model accuracy. So it's my default relative 0.0012. Okay. But what's going to happen now, if I import my reference model, I'm going to import that model I just did. I'm just going to place a default, and I'm going to say it's the same model. Okay. So Creo's got a pop-up. Creo 7 is going to check this in the background, and he's going to note that the reference model that you're going to use for designing this mold component now has a different accuracy level than the model or the mold template that you are using. Okay. And then it's going to tell you, I'm going to change that. Okay. So if you cancel here, it's going to throw you out. Okay. Because it's just going to create chaos when you start subtracting mold other features like sliders, bits and pieces. It's not going to work. Okay. So if you say okay, yeah. If we go and look at the model properties now, you will notice that it changed it to the same value as what I had in the beginning when I started this whole process. Okay, so if you use the math from the imported and you want to take it through to other modules, manufacturing or mold design or anything like that in Creo, you are fine in Creo 7. If you're using earlier versions, you have to double check all of this. Okay. And it's quite easy to check. If you don't get the error message or the warning when you place your component, then just have a quick look and check what the accuracies are. It's really important
that you have the same accuracy in your assemblies and your parts. Otherwise, your cutouts and things like that is going to fall over. Okay, so we've got about maybe just more than 10 minutes left. I'm just quickly going to bring the slides back. So just a quick slide on our training stuff. Ooh, sorry. The wrong button there. Let's just get to the right slide. So, okay, so even in these difficult times that we all find ourselves in, we can help you with some training. We can do virtual training in center, on site. Okay, so please reach out to us if you need any training or if you need additional help. Feel free to reach out, and you can find myself and the sales team using my email address. That's up now. Okay, so if you have any technical questions, you can send it to me. If I'm busy on projects or things like that, I'll get the right guys involved. You can also email support@boundariesys.com, and that will get you into the channel. And I believe you can log a case on our website as well, or a ticket on our website at boundariesys.com. And then these webinars are all uploaded to our YouTube channel. So you can just do a search for that and subscribe to our channel, and you'll get notifications on all the new webinars and things on there. Okay, so I'm going to mute myself for a minute or so. Please use the GoToWebinar to ask some questions, and then I'll try to answer them. Yep. Okay, so yes, this webinar will also be uploaded to our YouTube channel. You can go and view it there. Normally, the next Monday or so, it should be there. Just keep an eye out for that. Just something else that I forgot to mention. I have a PDF like this. It is available on the PTC knowledge base. So if you go do a search there for Creo Parametric Import Data Doctor, it is in version 1, but a lot of the information is still the same. So you can use that as a reference guide. If you can't find it, just drop me an email. I'll attach it and I'll send it to you. And I can do the same with that old wildfire system colors file. I can send you that as well. So if you want that blue with the yellow background, just send me an email. I'll attach it and send it over.
Okay, we have a question about a specific function or option called UV_XYZ. I'm not familiar with that. Let's quickly go and have a look in Creo. Is it an option or was it a feature inside of import data doctor? So let's quickly go and have a look over here. Let's quickly go edit definition. We jump in here. There's UV curves. Let's quickly see. I don't think that's what you're referring to. Okay, then we have another question about how many days is the import data doctor training. Okay, so for previous versions and even the latest version, I don't think PTC released official training material yet. So that would be like a training session we'll book with you, and somebody will sit with you and work through some examples. So it's a customized training because it's so different for a lot of customers. They work with different components. They receive different files. So yep, that's a customized thing. So just reach out to us and we can sort you out on the training side. Then we also have a question on what version of step file work best. That depends on the program that's creating the step files, what the math is in the background. I'm not always sure of the other programs. What I can show you, and I mean it's different for different components. That's why I mentioned to use different. Try asking customers or whoever supplies you with the step file, ask them for different versions. So in Creo, if you go save as and you say step file, so if you're supplying a customer with step files, these are the versions. I'm not sure which one's the latest. I didn't check that. I'm sure a quick search, Wikipedia or some source will give you that answer. But here's all the versions that you can export from Creo. If you're receiving step files from SolidWorks, NX, CATIA, I know they can do different versions as well. So just ask those guys to send you one or two versions, and then import them and see which one's going to be best. And they will differ for the components that you import. Okay. And then we have a question, can you create a step assembly into multiple body parts? So if I understand the question correct, you would like to assemble an assembly, but you want it in a part mode and then break out the different bodies. Let's test that. I've got I only got a SolidWorks one. Let's test it anyway. Let's quickly have a look. I'm going to go all files, and I have assembly, SolidWorks assembly. Let's see what this is going to do. See, it brings it in as a SolidWorks assembly. So from here, I can work on it, but it's individual components. You know what? Let's try this. Let's save this out as a step file. let's call it IXM. And let's close this down. Okay, let's go open. Doing things a little bit on the fly here, but hey. So it picked it up as an assembly. So I'm not going to use my template here. Let's see what happens if we force it to import it as a part. Okay, so it did it. But you will have to go and split them out, it seems. Let's see. I need the curves. You know what? I tested something earlier and it kept those settings. Let's close everything. Let's open up the SolidWorks assembly again. So I think what you can do is you can certainly import the different components, which makes sense with 2 or 3 parts, but as soon as you're having more, then that's not going to make sense. So I would like to say yes, I think it's possible, but we just have to test a few things before we can confirm that. These. Yeah, I don't think there's on the online training available for import data. Doctor, I know there's a few tutorials. So that PDF that I showed, there's some files and things and tutorials available, but it's not training in the true sense of PTC online training. So that's a thing that Boundary Systems will create and then deliver. Okay, let's see if I'm going to have a different scenario now. I'm going to force that as a part again. See, it did bring it in as separate bodies, but it lost the placement. This battery is supposed to be in this little cradle over here. So let's see if we make one a surface. Let's see what's going to happen. I've got 2 bodies. That's it made the one a body. Let's see, that's both. I don't think it's going to be perfect. It's losing the references. I think working in an assembly mode might be a little bit better, unless you bring in components separately. So I can go and I can say import this part again, for instance. Okay, and then you work with it from there, or a different step file. So I think I can go. Let's import the one that I've worked with. So you can bring that in. It's overlapping now, and that will. Then you can add that and assign that to a new body. So yeah, it seems like you will have to import them separately at the moment. Okay, so hopefully I've answered that question. Let's quickly have a look and see. In the import. Okay, so let's go. Surface. You were referring to these. Okay, so I guess your initial question was, is it still available? And you've answered it yourself. So thanks for sharing that. Okay, so thanks everybody for your time. Appreciate it. I know we ran 5 minutes over time, so if I didn't get to your question, you've got my contact details. Make sure to send those emails, and then we can have a discussion offline about that. Thanks everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day.